meeting to order. We have a motion to approve the minutes from last time.
I motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Tony, oh, sorry.
And do we have a motion to approve the agenda for this time?
I move that we accept the agenda.
Okay. Give me seconds.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. I don't have any remarks, except I'm back.
Was it fun?
Hmm?
Was it fun?
Yeah, 50th wedding anniversary.
Oh.
Carol's brother.
Was this Florida?
Hmm?
Was this Florida?
No, I was up in Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
Did you drop the first one?
So,
I was gonna say, that's a long drive.
yeah, it's too short.
Yeah.
Office update.
Well, it seems a little bit outdated now. I had another report about Surf Street, the man on the beach with all the different things he brought in.
Yeah, he still has,
He laid,
there's a gate, all about that standing up independently with a lock on it.
I don't know,
The whole thing is bizarre.
the last I heard was about bags of stones. I can't think of who told me now. She brought me pictures. Doesn't matter. That he had laid along the shoreline, you know, to try to keep the tide from coming in, you know. So I let the county know that. He said he'd send somebody back out to
Yeah.
look at it. He didn't like pour the stones out of the bag, he laid the bags of stones. And the thing of it is, he came in the other day and he's just the nicest man.
I'm sure he is.
I don't know if he had his, there was a woman with him, I don't know, daughter, girlfriend, I have no idea. Anyway, very nice
Standing gate.
family.
padlock on it.
And he really just wants a place to fish. I feel bad for him, I can't help
And
it.
it's padlock on it.
He lives in Montgomery County and works for government, I believe he's.
walk around for.
Anyway, so there's that. So also, if you'll recall, back in September, I think, the membership meeting, it came up about the intersection at Lake Drive and Lake Place where the young family bought the big brick house across from Kerman's and, you know, kids playing in the street. She came in, I think, just to pay her bill or something, I don't remember, but we were talking about that, and again, very nice young woman. She wondered why we couldn't have another three-way stop, because there's one down here on the lake.
Yeah, I think
as
we
you get
talked
to
about that
Pine.
in meetings.
We did, and so she brought it up again, and I said I'd bring it up to you guys. I didn't remember what we discussed, if we discussed it.
I think you said
Well-
something about like the other one was not supposed to be, the other stop sign wasn't really supposed to be there or something?
No, it wasn't that. It had been put in after a traffic study because people had complained because their kids were playing in the street, chalk drawing, you know, what kids do. But, you know, it's a risk you take.
still- it's
So
still
the county came and did
very
a study and said, you know, add more stop signs, and it suggested that three-way stop, over which I've had complaints,
Yeah.
about which I've had complaints. I can imagine if we put another one in, there'll be some complaints, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
But I get very nervous when I see those kids playing.
Oh, of course. But she claims that people, well, you know, she said, and I might have misunderstood her, that people go around the corner. Can't imagine they go around that corner very fast. But going on down towards your house, Bonnie,
Yeah,
I imagine they could pick up a pretty good speed.
Yeah.
So it's
Lake and what? Lake and Lake Place.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like,
You know where
You know where the
the Kerman
Yeah.
house is?
The Kerman,
the big,
the
the
original
White House.
the big red house.
Just as you approach the main causeway.
You'll have to
Are you talking about where it bends back down here?
Yes.
Yeah,
So they want to stop here?
They want a three-way
At the-
stop.
at the
So
bottom
it
of
would
the-
be
at the
at
bottom?
Lake as you approach it,
Mhm.
as Lake as you
Yeah.
come from Bonnie's house, and on
Yeah.
Lake Place
Yeah.
as you come up off
So
the
at the very
causeway.
top.
I think if there's any, I think it should be like coming from Lake.
The causeway?
down- No, coming from Lake, as you're approaching the causeway, you know what I mean?
Coming
Like
from
at the
here,
top of the
coming
hillside.
from here, coming from here.
Yeah, because I don't know if you need one
But
on
they're not,
every.
but they're
Well,
not, they're not on the causeway. These kids are playing up right near the stop sign.
Yeah.
So would one stop sign do it?
I don't know. I mean, I think, because you have
No, I
people
think
coming in.
a three-way would make more sense.
Three-way would be
Okay.
Because
fine.
that will, you know, people have complained about the speeds and stuff there, that would help
Yeah,
with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the idea of putting the one in at Pine and
Right.
and Lake.
Right.
yeah.
Because if you stop,
Yeah.
then then you're going at a
Yeah.
slower rate. And I've
Right.
had at least 2 people tell me I don't stop there because it's a stupid idea.
Yeah,
They-
well,
They don't,
I know
a
they
lot
do.
of them don't, but if they don't and they do
Something
something,
happens.
Well, then
Then-
you're
So
so
that's my question,
Yeah.
if a child gets, God forbid, hit, killed, whatever, what liability, who has the liability here? Is it us because we didn't have 18 stop signs there?
I would not
No,
think
it would
so.
be the-
I
it
wouldn't
would be
think
the-
so.
it
I
would
think
be,
the
it would be
operator,
the
but-
driver.
the driver, I would imagine.
And that would be, and
then, you know,
and
they
the
start suing.
And the
and the
county,
parents would be, I mean, the devastation
course.
on the family.
Yeah.
and the county or the state, maybe, the county, I don't remember, put a stop to putting child at play, slow down child at play, because that, they
Mhm.
were afraid it would give the impression that, oh, you're safe out here, there's a child at play sign.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
it would hurt to
No.
put the stop sign,
No,
and
I
I think it, you know, maybe some people will slow down and.
Yeah, I think a three-way stop sign makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, do we have the authority to do that on our streets, or do we need to have the county do a traffic study or approve putting in a traffic control like that?
I can contact the county, but I don't think they have any say over what we put in.
Well, let's find out.
Although they do have a say over our speed limit.
And who would pay for
Right.
the
We
sign?
would.
We would.
We would.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not, so they should, there wouldn't be any reason for them to
We said
to
the
Well-
deny us.
county did a study on Lake here.
They did a study, which is why we ended up with so many stop signs. They put the radar detector on it for like a couple of weeks and
Mhm.
came up with the idea that, additional speed limit signs and the three-way stop.
What year was that? How long ago
Oh,
was
it's
that?
been years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
where,
been
where
at
Lake,
least 10 years. No, it's
Yeah.
been longer than that.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
been 15 years.
where Lake and Place come together, where the stop sign is now, I mean,
Is there one already there?
oh, there's one,
On Lake Place?
not near me, but
No, no.
on the other, Lake Place,
Okay.
not Lake Place, Pine Place.
Pine.
Yeah.
Oh,
comes
Pine,
down.
oh, you're talking
That
about
one.
Pine,
Yeah, but
yes.
that wasn't always there when I first moved here.
No, no,
And it
no.
took me a while to realize I had
But
to
it's
stop.
been
I'm
here
so
quite
used
a
to
while.
driving.
Yeah.
So let's call,
I'll call.
find out
Contact
if we
them.
need to get any kind of permission right there, or can we go ahead and put it?
Okay.
Somebody make a motion to put one up pending, County
I made a
approval.
motion to put one up pending county approval.
okay, a second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
When you call, ask them about enforcement, whether they automatically enforce this.
No more than they do anything, Joe.
The only way they enforce is the stop
The
sign
one
right
up
here.
here.
Yeah, that's a
Yes,
real, that's a
first.
real moneymaker.
Yeah,
It is.
maybe.
I got a warning once, I didn't get a ticket, but.
Okay.
Okay. Filing claims, this is the time of year I'm doing that. I'm about through, I've kind of made it a routine that when I send that claim document one year that I don't file yet, I give them all the whole year. And the next year, if they haven't paid, I file a claim. So I filed probably a dozen this past month, something like that. The property on Pilot, which I've complained about many times, the first one on the right, it transferred. Because I don't know why I was looking at it again, but I did, on the tax assessment site, and it had sold, transferred, non-arm's length. So that means they know somebody that it transferred to. So I got on land records and it transferred apparently to his sister.
He has a sister, really.
Yeah. It says on the deed, it says sister. So I'm assuming this woman who's now on the tax assessment site is the sister. So I called the tax office. I spend an inordinate amount of time on these things because they bug me. But I called the tax office and it did not sell at tax sale, which means I do not have to credit any of those fees.
Didn't it go for mortgage payment? Is it?
I have no idea.
I think it did, because there was a notice on the front door, notice, this property is now being a blah, 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 a mortgage. Yeah, I think the bank took it over.
I was told that he had no mortgage.
Really? Well, there was
I don't
something
know if
about
that's
that
true.
mortgage bank on the paper that was attached to the front door, because I read
Okay,
it.
well, I know it didn't go at tax sale, which means, in my mind, I can still collect this money. So
Yeah.
I sent the new owner a letter certified I didn't mention the relationship because I'm not positive about it. But I sent her a letter just last week and haven't had a response, and letting her know that she's now responsible for those
I
fees.
saw a car in the driveway a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I
I've
think
seen some
somebody's been
activity
hauling
over
in
there too, yeah.
The blinds were up, and, yeah.
No welcome bucket till they pay the bill.
No, you're right about that. You go do an inspection. So then that brings up the idea of all these accounts that I don't file claims on because they're in tax sale, tax lien, haven't, so I've got so many of them in the uncollectible file list, whatever. So I've got another 12 that are in tax sale or tax lien. Can I add those to the total's $11,036. Some of them are like $500 or $600. So maybe set a limit when it goes over X number of dollars, then they automatically go into tax uncollectibles, I mean. Since we're not going to write them off, because we talked about that, and you decided that they shouldn't be written off, and that was a good decision, because I have actually been contacted by, oh, my great uncle, how much do we owe? Shockingly, on 2 of them, I believe. So I think it was a really good decision not to just write them off. They're still on the balance sheet, but anyway, can I add all of these? If they go into tax sale, tax lien, can I go ahead and add them? Or should you put a limit, like if they owe us more than $500, or X number of years worth of fees? Say 3+ years? Because 3 years is when I would file a claim. There's no point in my filing a claim.
I think if we're gonna do it, they need to pay, and if they pay it, they need to pay the whole thing.
Oh, no, I wouldn't forgive the fees. It just goes into, on the balance sheet, you'll see down near the bottom, uncollectibles. It's about in the middle, allowance for doubtful accounts, it's called. If somebody comes forward and claims ownership, no, I would put it right back out of uncollectibles and,
So you're trying to simplify things so you don't have this.
I'm trying to, not even simplify, I have a whole spreadsheet with all of this, and I have it listed as uncollectible or tax lien or what have you. It just seems to me that some of these are uncollectible, are doubtful.
You said people have come back and
Twice, I think.
like what kind of time frame?
Oh, years and years.
Like 5, 10?
I think that I would have to double check, but as I recall, out of the blue, I was contacted by a relative of somebody who I had never gotten a payment from. Like 10, 15, whatever number of years I've worked here. Never.
So what is the problem with just leaving it the way it is?
There's no problem with it at all. It's just that we have these for, so that we can maybe, I think the idea, my original idea was I thought it would, it would subtract from my receivables.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
What is
So that we
$67,000?
get an idea.
What is the 67,000 number?
Those are the uncollectibles. I call it uncollectibles. That's the allowance.
67,000?
It goes, some of those go back way before me even being here. People bought in the 50s, 60s, and, there's somebody in Puerto Rico, there's somebody in I think it's Amman, Jordan.
Oh, here.
I think there's 2 brothers actually that are in Puerto Rico. There's some that I just don't have any, I've never gotten mail to them. I took 1 year and I added up everything between covenants and finally then mandatory assessment, and, put a journal entry into my QuickBooks to say, these are the ones we don't think we're going to collect. It's really just a way of keeping track of that.
Well, what was your, when did you put them in? What was your threshold? Was it years? Was it?
Those were the ones I've never, there's like 61 of them in there, and those are the ones that the mail just keeps being returned, and so on.
Okay, but what was your criteria for putting them in there?
And it's uncollectible.
Just that I've never
I mean,
gotten mail to them and or never collected from them, or they were in tax sale.
After, like, how long? After, like,
Years.
a year?
Oh,
or
no,
2
no,
years?
So
no,
it's,
no.
I mean, like,
When-
when
From the
it
time
started-
I began,
Decades.
Oh,
No, I
I haven't been here
I know that, I think it's, the question is like, when did you
Feels
record?
Almost decades. Two thousand six, did you say?
Yeah.
About 4.
Oh, so
I don't know.
it's decades.
A long time.
It's almost
Anyway,
decades.
it wasn't just a few years.
Mhm.
It would have been, and none of them are developed lots. They're all undeveloped
So
lots.
you're
I would
at-
never put a house in, developed lot.
You're asking, you want to quantify this now so that, yeah, I mean, that's,
So that,
Makes
at least when I look at it, or if anybody looks at it and knows what they're
Mhm.
looking at, they can say, oh, a lot of that receivables toward the
Mhm.
top, out of that, there's 67,000 that we'll never collect.
Okay.
So you have a better idea
that's
of what
really
to expect and what
what's
you can
really
actually
Mhm.
collect.
Okay, so what do you recommend?
I would recommend putting these dozen that I have, well, and like I say, there's
No,
only
but what do you recommend?
3 years plus,
Pro- 3 years,
3 years plus and/or tax sale.
okay. Do
yeah, yeah.
anybody wanna talk about that, or
Sounds.
propose that, or?
Do we need a motion?
It's just a bookkeeping entry.
It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I'm not, we're not
Yeah.
forgiving anything.
Yeah, right,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just a bookkeeping entry.
Right.
Yeah, just
Do we
to
even
be
have to vote on
consistent
it?
with it, yeah.
Well, then maybe we don't need to vote.
Yeah.
yeah, so what's the bottom line here? What would be the purpose? Is there a purpose other than just posting it and making the bottom line look different? Or is
Maybe
It
there?
doesn't really make
realistic.
it look different, because when I first did it, I actually posted it against receivables. So that number, and it's all changed, but that number of 96,000 went down by 50-some thousand.
Yeah.
It's a more realistic view of what
What you can
because I'm into all these collections and trying to file claims. And I would just, at least for me, like to be able to look at that and say, well, I'm never gonna collect this 60-some thousand,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's just to give us, I think, a better idea of what we can expect.
What-
Okay, so you're, basically what you're saying is your practice has been 3 years and/or tax sale.
It's not even been the 3 years, but, I mean, because we've never really, it was always more than 3 years. So at this point, I think if it's at least 3 years and in tax sale, I would say maybe both. It's 3 years in arrears here for the
I think
fees, and it's in tax sale.
what was sort of suggested was, if this has been working, And we- then why fix it? So just continue on with your practice,
So go ahead and put them in the tax sale, or.
just like you've been doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I really only did that initial move of
Yeah.
60-some properties,
Right.
61 or 2 properties. And then every year it increases because every year we assess fees that don't get collected.
Right,
And
that
that
So
makes
that gets
sense.
posted.
Yeah, that makes
And that be
sense.
a footnote, so people, maybe you keep it all in the receivables, but there's a footnote that says. so-
Basically, that's what that is.
That's
It's
what you're
still
trying,
in the
you're trying
receivables.
to,
This is
give
a
a
footnote
realistic
to say,
idea of-
yeah.
Hmm.
This is basically a footnote to receivables, to say,
Mhm.
these won't be
yeah,
collected.
yeah.
You know, you could mentally subtract this much
Mhm.
from receivables.
Right.
I initially, as I say, posted it against receivables. One of the accountants said, yeah, do that.
Okay.
And then when Mark Perry came on to do our audits,
He said,
he made me reverse it. He said, no, you've got to leave that on there. Fine.
you wanted to leave it as receivable?
Exactly.
Okay.
And just show it on the balance sheet, but not subtract it from receivables. So, like Jack said, it's really just a bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you're consistent with it,
Mhm.
it's- it's fine.
Okay. So I'll add that to the office.
So we're changing, is that it?
Yeah.
What, yeah, is there any notion about what this $67,000 number will look like when it changes? Is it gonna balloon up?
Yeah, it'll go up. It'll go up by, let's say there's 60 properties times $126 plus 60 properties times $20 for the mandatory assessment.
So right now, those are in the receivables column, but you're gonna pull them out of that?
I'm not gonna pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just simply going to increase, I think as of July 1 is when I make that entry. Or maybe it might be June 30.
The ones that are doubtful?
Yes.
That's a doubtful.
I'll increase doubtful accounts by,
Okay. So it's a
60.
subset of the whole procedure for it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
If it's a big noticeable change,
Happens every year.
but it's, just annual.
Mhm.
If this
Yeah.
is adding more accounts, it could go quite a bit higher.
It's about $11,000.
Oh,
Where
okay.
is it?
I don't know if
$11,036.
you grab anybody's attention particularly.
Yeah, I mean,
And it makes sense if you explain it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You're not changing anything, you're just highlighting
yeah, exactly.
what's unlikely to be.
So, okay, also, Mike, I mentioned this to you, I told Mrs. Geip I would bring it to the board. Mrs. Geip lives, or has a house, the little red house between Carroll and Eagle and the Rispin house.
Okay.
What street?
I'm sorry,
Lake
on
Place.
Lake Place, again, across from Kerman.
It's kind of a reddish brown. It's
Yeah,
kind of a-
yeah.
With green
So
trim,
she
it's very
called,
strange.
she called the other day and a couple of things, but one thing she wanted me to address, she thinks that the association can do something about the golf carts. And I explained all the different steps we had taken, contacting the sheriff's office, having him come to address the board, or the membership, having it in the newsletter, it's on the website and so on. And she was quite adamant that we should be able to do something.
The people,
So I told her I would bring it to the board and here it is.
Okay, tell her the board said we can't do anything about it.
Well, people that come to the general meeting aren't the people that have the golf carts typically either. So,
Well, some of them do.
Some of them do, but then, it's in the
it's usually
newsletter.
the younger,
And I
Yeah,
sent out, and I
yeah.
sent out the email.
and the only time those people came
And-
when there was that issue about kids playing in the street.
Right,
Right,
right. Well,
and-
they actually came home from that meeting on a golf
Oh,
cart.
did they?
I mean, I did.
And it was dark and there was no light on, and we were like right behind them, so
Oh.
I didn't say anything.
So I don't know what we can do about that.
Tell her the president will put it in the newsletter in his remarks.
Sounds good.
But other than that,
Isn't that
can't
right?
do a damn thing about it.
Yeah,
Right.
because we can't enforce it, and it's
No.
not something that we
And the
really wanna do.
deputies don't wanna,
Yeah.
and I don't wanna say waste their time, but
They don't want,
Yeah.
they don't wanna waste their time.
I guess the
writing tickets
only
for golf
issue
cart.
is
If there's an
that if there's an
accident, there's gonna be an issue.
accident, there's
Yeah.
gonna be an issue.
And then that was the purpose of my email that I
Right.
sent out.
Right.
to-
and the other issues, I've seen kids driving them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
adults.
that's-
Oh, I know, yeah, but again,
But again,
I
it's
know there's nothing we can do about
call
it.
the sheriff.
Call
Yeah.
the sheriff, that's right.
so then the only other thing I have, I'm clearing out, believe it or not, more old files. Because we had all those notebooks, and I did that like last year, COVID time and so on. But I don't know if you know it or not, but there's a filing cabinet back there that's just full of old letters and the minutes we have to keep indefinitely, according to CPA. But there's correspondence.
Well, okay, question.
Yeah. Even if we do.
Put them on
The,
online.
I went
Oh, I could-
through a little bit of an exercise with for the yacht club and looking at, because the fire marshal said, why are you keeping all this paper?
Yeah.
And I said, well, the IRS says you have to keep records for 7 years. She said, well, but don't you have a lot of that on your computer? Yes. So then I went to the accountant and asked him, and he sort of waffled on it a little bit. Then I went to the IRS regs, and digital information is acceptable nowadays.
Good.
Hmm, okay.
So why can't we, it's like on minutes, do you have,
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to keep paper copies, or if we have to keep indefinite copies, and we don't have a digital record,
Mhm.
then okay. But if we do,
Okay.
trash them.
Okay, I can do that, and I do have digital records from the time I started.
Yeah.
So what I can do is, start scanning, as I wanna get through sorting all of it,
Mhm.
and I'm tossing out old letters of,
Mhm.
Yeah,
dear Mike,
right.
thank you for your payment, kind of
Yeah,
things,
right.
Yeah.
but a lot of it is, I think, pretty significant for the community. It talks about the history between the Kermans, when they sold the properties to
Oh, yeah,
CRE.
that's right.
Yeah, that
There
would
was a
be-
big
That is-
lawsuit,
that's
I
important, yes.
mean, so I wanna
Yeah.
keep all of that.
But you might wanna also digitize that as well,
Well, I
in
would
addition,
digitize
because, so
that,
we
yeah.
don't lose it, and then have backup digitized.
Well, and I think some of it perhaps we could keep paper, like,
Oh, yeah.
so I have a file for, John Wagner, and one for Don Randall, and all the various people that, the old timers, as we used to call, they're all gone, pretty much. But anyway, that's sort of where I'm heading. And I'm keeping a list of things that I'm getting rid of, and I'll let you see the list before I get rid of them.
Okay.
So, anyway.
I think
What kind
that
of
sounds fun.
scanning equipment do you have? Is it?
Oh, that
efficient?
copier, oh yeah, I can put a stack in. Although some of these, back in the day, if you had, copies, it was, carbon copy on parchment.
Oh, yeah.
So that might, as it goes through
What
the,
about-
Yeah.
I don't know, I would have to lay it in
You may
there.
have to do it manually.
And what about
Yeah.
double-sided stuff? Where
Well, I can do that as well, I
Do
can
you have to
scan.
manually flip?
No, I can scan
Okay.
double-sided, but the number of copies people kept,
Oh, yeah.
correspondence back and forth with the state about various things, and there'd be like 5 copies of it.
Yeah.
Why did you keep 5 copies?
So how many hours can you guesstimate how many hours it take to scan everything in?
Oh, I have no idea yet. I mean, there's so much back there.
Mhm.
There's like 3 cabinet drawers full. I think just 3, maybe the 4th one as well. And then there's 2 boxes that some of these prior board members came in and said, I think you should have these.
Any way we can pay somebody to do that for you? So,
Well, I'd be willing,
Okay.
on days that I'm not doing anything, I don't see any reason why we couldn't spend a couple of hours,
Yeah, sure.
each of us.
I can get it
Yeah.
organized
Yeah.
and.
You have to get it
and-
organized.
Yeah, see how much there
So we
is.
could come down
and-
the day.
yeah, Okay.
Because
Yeah, I
it's
think-
mind-numbing for you to.
Yeah, but I think you would know better than some
Well-
of us, like or me.
Well, I would
than
sort
what
it
to keep
out.
and what to talk.
No,
especially when
I would
it's-
sort it
yeah.
out. I would sort it out and like, okay, here's everything I have from John Wagner.
And you
Yeah.
sort it out so
And then
the
you
person
guys
could
could,
just
if you wanted to do that.
scan it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have to make any decisions, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds-
All right, that's it.
Anything else?
No.
Roads.
Actually got a text from Chris this morning. Did you see the, okay, I copied you on it. He said Great Mills was coming back today, and they actually had already come and gone by the time I told Sal. I didn't think I should have told him right away. To finish, where it had been kind of thin and the cloth was showing through, and apparently there were some other areas.
Right.
But again, according to Chris, that center line is fine.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
okay. And I texted him back and I said I still need the trip tickets for the asphalt and the fabric. And Jeff, when we saw him last time at Barrel 9, he wants to go through the trip tickets and compare. And that's the delivery on the asphalt and the amount of fabric they deliver versus
Yeah.
what their proposal said. So I'll let Jeff know if I
Okay.
ever get them. Stormwater management. Work was done on Leeson Cove. But there is a, and it was approved, you guys approved it by email, so we need a,
Oh, this is the one, 222 leasing code.
yeah.
Well, we sent this around for.
Yes, so we just need to affirm the decision the board made.
This is the one where they have to clean out a swale that goes underneath the road. It's $1,545, which I think is pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
compared to Other estimates we've gotten, so.
so if we can get a motion to affirm the decision made by email.
I'll make a motion, we affirm the decision to pay that.
Second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
Okay.
done. But they haven't come back, I guess, I take it.
No, I don't think, no, because they're, I don't think they have.
'Cause
We've done several right now, and I get them a little
I know.
confused,
Well, I
but no, I don't
mentioned-
think so.
Yeah, I had, you relayed, I think, to Mike
Yes.
Rover that, or Mike Toro, that with these rains we've had, that the swale has filled up,
Right,
and they could see,
yes.
take a look at it when it's like that and see how to open it up to get it to flow.
Yeah, he said they would swing by. The work on Perrin was done the week of April 17th. You
Yeah.
guys had already affirmed that decision. Bay Causeway repair, Michelle, I know, Ward, they're married then. Michelle Ward, I called her on the 12th again, and she said they should be able to address it in the next 4 to 6 weeks, once they finish 2 other jobs, and so they can get the equipment over here.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
I'll just mention, we've been trying to work off that stormwater management list that we had put together. And we've, 2 or 3 things we've just kicked off. Because I've gone by them after a 2-inch rain and there's no water. So to me, there's no problem.
Right.
So
Yeah.
unless they come by and show us that there is something else going on,
Yeah.
so that we got rid of 2 or 3 of them that way.
So there are a couple of others, and I had mentioned maybe having M&S trucking
Yeah. Have
do
you
them.
heard, have you found
Chris
out?
finally gave me a phone number, so I didn't want to call them unless I had the go-ahead to
Well, yeah,
ask them for an updated price on just those 2 or 3 that we talked
Okay, well,
about, because it looked quite reasonable.
All right, let's come back to that in a
Okay.
second. One other action that I want to meet with Grover's is to take a look at that, what is it, 13903 or whatever it is, the one on Mills Creek with the culvert that goes underneath the house, or actually out to the side of the house and out
Oh, I
into
think
the
I know the
creek.
one you mean.
Hmm.
The one that we really shouldn't have, but then we did.
Well,
in the
we
past
thought we
or
didn't,
something.
but then when I went back with Jeff and Gary, they affirmed that we did put it in.
Right.
It is our responsibility. So I want to have Grover meet me out there and take a look at that. It's not gonna be a big job.
Okay.
We're not gonna do what the guy was talking about, where there's rust on the pipe. Well, so what? I mean, there's gonna be rust on the metal pipe,
Okay.
okay?
This is not Kleinbeck.
Hmm.
I know which one you mean.
It's
Is that the
Brad
one that was
Parker,
recently sold?
or Brad something.
I know which one it is.
Is that the one that just recently sold within the last,
I don't
5
think
months?
so, no, I don't think so, I think they've been.
What's that?
Oh, the one you're talking about, the house you're talking about. I was just wondering if it was one that had recently been sold.
Oh, no, he's been in there for 15 years.
Available this week?
Yeah,
Okay.
and, okay, so let's bring up those 2 at M&S and see if we can get approval here at the board.
Right now?
Yeah. One of them is beach and surf. At
Yes.
the corner there, there's quite a bit of washout.
Mm.
And it's just a matter of putting some more riprap in there to kind of spread it out and control it. And the other one was, Riverview Causeway. Just needs to have some rock put in that drain box, at the edge of the drain box to keep it from eroding into the road.
So that's Klein Rock, Bradley Klein Rock, Bradley Klein Rock was the one, yeah. So this one and, surface, the beach, these 2.
Okay, so Riverview Causeway, we have a bid of 1817 to do that. We already got, I guess he had already worked with the soil management people.
Soil conservation, he did, yeah.
So we've got approval on that, and that's not an unreasonable number. You might be able to get it cheaper, but I'm sort of tired of screwing with it.
I
so.
know, I'd like to, I agree.
So that one, is there a motion to approve Riverview Causeway work?
Who's doing the work?
Pardon me?
Who's doing the work?
It's
M&S
called
trucking.
M&S Trucking.
They're in Charles County.
They've done work for, well, Chris had used them in Calvert, as a Calvert County contractor to do work.
So they're just bringing riprap in and putting, is that what they're doing, just bringing riprap in and putting it down at Surf and Beach, or what are they
And
doing?
then, okay, that was Riverview Causeway. Then the other one, so that was 1817. So do we have a motion to approve, a second to approve that one?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve it, on the Riverview Causeway, the work we're doing on
Okay.
Riverview Causeway.
I guess pending that the price hasn't changed,
Well, yeah.
or not significantly.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the other one was Surf and Beach.
Yeah.
That one was $23.97. There's quite a bit of riprap that has to go in there to fill that area. It's a pretty wide area. But again, I don't think that's unreasonable, given the other work that we've had done. So,
I motion to approve.
is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Try to get those done. Anything else on roads?
Nope.
Nope?
Nope.
Money? Yeah.
Well, I haven't really looked deeply at our current budget, and it looks all, first glance, looks all quite good. Where we want to be. And really nothing to point out. Oh, I see we haven't paid yet for the,
Peyton?
yeah.
No, I've not gotten a bill yet.
So,
Right.
but-
They were moving offices too, according to Chris, which is probably also why maybe, what's his face, Troutman didn't respond to that letter and so on.
But now it's fixed up and,
I should be getting a bill any minute, I would imagine. It's, a fair amount of money they've been
yeah,
waiting to
surprised.
collect. So that's like, I don't know, 185, something like that.
Good.
Probably more, because it's usually more than the proposal.
Okay. See, there's nothing to be decided there. Oh, should we do the FY24 budget now?
Yeah, if you want.
You'll see a copy of that in there. Many of you helped develop it, which is good. So it'll look familiar, presumably.
Yeah, I think I sent this out to everybody too, because Tony called and he had a comment.
Oh, good.
He thought the money, I had plugged in $139,000 for the beach erosion project.
Yeah.
And Mike had estimated maybe 133, 135, and then they came in with 139 estimate. Tony thought, so that's what I plugged in. Tony thought we should put 150 in there.
Just because things might go up or things.
Well,
tend to-
and this is just an estimate, it's not a proposal. So,
Makes sense.
anyway,
Makes sense.
Good. And then the one unfinished line here, where we will meet in executive session, is payroll expenses.
well, I actually put numbers in there, because otherwise you can't make it make sense at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, current.
Okay.
Otherwise, it does, you can't do a carryover, you
Yeah.
don't know, it just doesn't look right.
So the thing is, current numbers are new numbers we have to meet.
Mhm.
Right. So should I increase the erosion control to 150?
I think that makes sense.
Everybody?
So what line is that again?
Last page, line 6845.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get it to as close as we can estimate.
I think it makes sense to put 150 in there.
Yeah. It's
Better to
better.
come under than over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's kind of like 10% or something.
I think that's what Tony kind of was basing
Yeah,
it
okay.
on.
Okay, so-
Props.
you don't happen to have that in front of you, do you?
What, the,
The proposal?
no, but it, I
Um,
did I print it? No, I just saved it. I can print it.
Well, I have it, but it's on my phone and I don't have my phone with me.
You want me to get it?
I just wanna check a couple things.
And then you need to consider,
You talked
the
about,
cost of the reserve, I'm
Hmm?
sorry, I put the cost of the reserve in there, but then how much we're gonna be asked to budget. And I think, I looked and it was 12,000 a year is what we had been budgeting years ago when we were doing the reserve for the roads. I mean, I don't know how to do fiscal year '24 budget without putting in some number for that.
Jack, one of the things we batted around was, on the beach erosion. And we had 60,000 approved by the county, the SCD. And if this is, if the project that ends up actually being front-end loaded, which it will be, what are the chances we could, we'd be able to spend that 60 and just tell the county that it all came in, and then not add any more? I mean,
Yeah, I don't see the 60,000 for that. We have,
well, on the budget, she's got 12,000.
About the STD, yeah.
Well, because I did it year by year,
Yeah, I know.
I don't think they'd have an issue with our,
Okay, I see what you say, yeah, 5 times 12.
What is that, I mean, is it,
the thing is, there is so much money there. It's almost an embarrassment.
oh, I know.
Yeah, but the question is whether we can just go above what the
Right.
county has approved, or the commission has approved.
For, not for the total project, but for 1 year, since it's all front-end loaded into in 1 or at most 2 years.
Well, I'd say let's just do it and,
But is this, do we just leave it the way it is, put 12,000, because that's what the spread, the projected spread was 12,000 over 5, per year over 5 years. So do we just leave it at 12 on our budget, and then if we spend 60, we'll go back and say, hey, we're done, here's what we spent?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think they know
We
that
beg
we're
for-
not gonna do this
we
over
beg
the course of
forgiveness.
5 years.
What we might be doing, but the money is gonna be different, it's not gonna be equally 12,000.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't take 5 years. It's
Yeah,
just,
you mean
it's just a
to-
question of spreading out over the
Yeah.
course of the 5-year time of
We
the
don't-
STD.
We don't show them this budget, do we?
No.
Okay. We'll leave it the way it is. So, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, when we go to get reimbursed, that's when it'll come to
Yeah.
our attention.
Yes, and again, it's a capital project. Like last year, I billed for paving like 200, I don't know, 190. And the only thing the STD allowed was 160, something like that. They don't question capital projects. And of course, this is an unusual one, but I just don't think they'll question it.
No, they've, I think
Be really
explicitly approved,
surprised.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. If I started billing them for paper, and, supplies, then we'd have a problem.
So we've already, this will be 24,000 total for 2 years. We haven't spent any for last year, right?
Spent some, I think 5,000 maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, part of the permitting or something.
Okay.
One of the most
Sounds right.
recent bill from Scott Hardaway from
Yeah, so,
Coastline.
I think Tony has a good point. Go ahead and increase that by 11,000 and that, because this includes materials, and for the materials and labor for the spur, and then it includes some extra in there for site work and mobilization, demobilization, where they have to haul stuff in or out. But it doesn't include any additional management, which they may end up with some additional things that this gives us some work where we can actually hire them for some management work.
Okay.
So that's a good idea.
Will they be like putting out the requests for proposals and all that, or do I do that, or?
No, they're gonna do it.
That's kind of what I
Yeah.
thought. I mean, I thought that was part of what we paid them for.
Right. But he didn't put that on here specifically,
And
so
it has a little plus after here, I see too.
does not include access
Oh,
road
okay.
maintenance.
Oh, okay.
And it does include the asphalt removal.
So we were permitted to get the asphalt removed then? Because I thought the state may not allow us to remove that asphalt, thinking the asphalt's holding the
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
They'll want to get rid of it because it's
caustic.
essentially toxic
Oh, yeah.
over long term.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So then also for the reserve. I don't even know where I put it. The study, I added, the reserve study, that's 6325, page two. I put $5,000 in, but it came in a little lower than that.
Have you heard
That's
back,
the
you heard
study.
back from,
Yes. Yeah, I think I sent it. I did, I sent out the, I'm sorry, you're asking about level 2 for the second?
yeah,
Yeah. That's Miller Dodson's. And so for the level 2 from this company, 4,000.
okay, so,
And Miller Dodson's was like 39.5
so we,
or something.
so even though we're,
But we have 5,000 here.
I know, because
Okay.
I hadn't changed it
Okay,
since
oh,
these
okay.
came
So
in.
it's supposed to be fair.
38.90 is what Miller Dodson proposed.
So the law that we have to comply with, when was this passed? Is this like something old that?
No, it's right.
you know, it's a house, I sent it around to everybody, it's a house, it was a House Bill 104. It's actually been
Addresses it right in
modified,
the first
it's been
one.
modified over time. It's at one point, it was only really applied to Montgomery and Prince George's counties. And then they added more and more for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
So it's basically an unfunded mandate, you know, they're just saying,
Do
you
it.
gotta do this and figure out how to pay for it.
right,
Right,
No,
right. Well, I think, good.
this, what is the utility of this study? At best, it's gonna sit on the shelf, I think.
I think for a
the
community,
CYA,
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's true.
and I think for a community like ours,
Mhm.
it really isn't necessary. Got a really good board of directors,
So-
you got a great manager.
We do.
But not all
We'll
communities
get the
have
same
that.
utility if we take the cheapest one or
Yeah,
the
I
expensive
think
one.
that's
So
True.
we
Because
go
we're
for the
just checking a
cheapest.
box,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So let's go with the cheaper one.
It's not that much cheaper,
No,
like
but
$110, but
Oh, that's
Miller Dodson did it before and it would make sense to me too,
Yeah.
even if they
Yeah.
were a little bit
keep the
higher.
continuity and
Yeah.
I liked what this other outfit, I liked the way they were thorough in their
yes.
description of level 1.
Mhm.
And now whether that applies to level 2, I don't know, especially since they didn't do level
Right.
1. But I think it just makes sense to,
You want to go ahead and sign it then?
do we,
Or do you need a motion?
So Miller Dodson is
Since
one
it's
of the cheaper.
Then I'll let everybody know. Sign the change. It's just the one from Grover's Landscape.
what?
Just sign,
Oh,
yeah, for the, whatever it is, Lisa. So then I'll change the budget to reflect the lower price on the reserve study.
Yeah.
But then how do we budget for how much will be suggested that we set aside
But haven't we, mean for the reserve?
for the reserve?
I mean, don't you think we already have that? Don't you
I
think
think we already have it.
I think we already have it. I mean,
Where do we have
I would be surprised if they came in and said we didn't, I mean, whatever our reserve, I guess we have these different buckets of money, that's the problem. I mean, as far as,
Well, we actually do, you're right,
I mean-
have already
so what we call reserve is a smaller amount that just like for the house.
$24,000.
But I think if we're talking about the roads and the boat ramp and the
Mhm,
beach, community beach
mhm.
maintenance and what, other things, I mean, I think however we're doing that now, I think we've got the money to do that.
Well, we're not putting any more right now into the reserve. We haven't put any
No,
in.
but we have money to, if the purpose of the reserve is to make sure we have the money to do these things, we
Mhm.
have that money, it's just different, it's in different
True.
parts of the budget.
True,
So,
yeah, you're right. So maybe we don't have to budget it.
I don't think we do, but Jack will say.
Oh, no, this balance is there.
I think if they do the study and they come out and they look at our funds and funding and everything, and they say, well, you're gonna be short, you need to increase reserves for roads.
Right.
How much?
But we have to see why that is, because we have everything, I think we have a lot of money set aside for the roads for over
Well, you
years,
could
right?
almost call what's sitting at the county right now and over the course of the next 5 years for the STD, a reserve.
Yeah,
That money is
Exactly
reserved
my
for the
point.
roads.
Yeah, so,
That makes good sense.
so I wouldn't think they'd come in and say that we were lacking.
No, I agree,
No.
I agree. Yeah, that's true. I was thinking, you know, back in the day when we had the very first one
Yeah.
done, and we did 12,000 a year, or more, we ended up with 240
But you
something
said that
thousand.
that was why you changed that, because you got in trouble by having that much money?
Yeah. Well, specifically having that much in just a reserve,
Mhm, mhm.
not allocated
I
anywhere.
mean, we're more active
Yeah,
in
it makes,
using
yeah, it makes more sense to have it allocated towards something, you know where
Right,
it's going.
right.
Yeah.
So then maybe we don't have to actually budget an amount to
We
put in.
we can justify that we
Because I
have
don't
this
know.
money, they can, you know,
Yeah, you're
probably,
right.
I think.
I mean, and we specifically have our reserve account of 24,000.
Mhm.
And actually, I spoke with a man from this other company, and he said that once a determination has been made how much you need to have in
Mhm.
reserve, you have 3 years to get it there.
Okay.
So I think,
Yeah, I think we're good.
I mean, yeah, you're right, I
Yeah.
agree. Good, because I had no idea how else we would do it.
Well, and then, if we can come up with an idea based on a study or whatever of how much reserve we should have, okay, for whatever. And then, basically, on the balance sheet, put a line under our assets that says required reserve,
Okay.
and split that out.
Well, it's already on the balance sheet, though.
Can you say where it's gonna come from? I mean, since we have it for road maintenance. and-
It's just there.
I mean, there's a reserve account,
But that's for the
Oh, okay.
house, it's only for the house.
24,000, specifically for the house, since
and
the
the
county
property,
would not
yeah.
allow us, yeah,
Yeah.
since the
Okay.
county would not allow us to
So
have.
we would increase that if we find out we need to have,
Right.
we need to show more on the books. We just
Move
increase that.
some into it,
Yeah.
you're right, all right. All right, so, we need a motion to approve the budget.
I move that we approve the budget.
A second,
I'll second.
all in favor, opposed?
Bonnie, was that you that motioned?
Yes.
So we'll have at the end of the meeting, we'll ask for a motion to go to executive session. We'll handle one other little
Didn't even put that
pain in the rear.
on. Thank you for considering.
Important,
me.
important.
Thank you for considering it.
Well, to me, it looks fine here. You decreased it by $26 and
That's so fun. Yeah.
okay. All right, are we done, Jack?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Okay, environmental ladies?
I have nothing to do.
Other than the fact that Rhea pointed out a tree on Overlook to me.
Carl Bowen is the one. that
Yeah,
told
I
me that.
guess.
Yeah.
And I might take care of that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, in
Is
the
it,
next
did
few
you look
weeks.
at it? Is it?
No, I haven't been by it yet.
What do you mean, take care of it?
I might
Ivy?
get, oh, I'm sorry, ivy. It's,
Oh, ivy.
it's infested with ivy and it
Yeah.
looks like it's dying, so.
And Carl said it's alive. He's been watching it.
Yeah,
Mm.
okay.
And it's blooming,
Mm.
but he said that ivy's gonna bring it down.
Is that the same one we're talking about that we said was on, it's not on our property, but
It is.
it is on?
I don't know, but
It is
it's,
on your property?
no, it's on our, in our right of way. I
Oh,
think
oh,
that
oh,
end of
oh.
county maintenance is before that tree.
Okay.
And the county wouldn't do anything about
But
it.
if it's a
It's
nice
dead
tree,
now.
maybe we should just.
Okay, but this is a different tree than what he's talked about that we should cut down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because we
just
need to-
wondered if the ivy.
Now that we're mentioning him, he never has got back to me to get together
He
and
said
look
he
at
was
those
going to do
trees.
that this week.
This week? Okay.
I saw him drive by yesterday in a big truck.
Oh, yeah, I see him every once in a while. He's out patrolling.
Yeah.
Jenny, if the vines that are growing up that are too thick, because I guess they get pretty,
They
thick.
do, they do.
if it's something you can't do,
I'll get my
I
husband. out
wonder,
there.
okay, I wonder
He's got
if
a-
Joe, do you have like
He-
a sawzall? or
He's got a
something?
sawzall.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we get the sawzall? Would that be handy for Joe to use on?
It might, but
No? Okay.
Does he
walk
do it?
off like everything else.
What's locked off?
Thought we had, didn't we have a trimmer or something that walked off and
It's been about a year or two.
Yes, we did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, just a thought. So,
I
okay.
mean, yeah,
So
they're
let me
handy,
know.
but,
Well, you guys probably have sawzalls, and
Yeah.
if someone is needed, I'll bet Joe could borrow.
okay, anything else?
Mm.
Okay. So you're planning on doing that before you get back into the Ivy League?
Yeah, I'll look at it this, maybe next week.
Okay, and let me know if it's too thick.
Just
or
be
not.
careful, because I noticed a lot of these vines, you know, what looked like ivy, it's dark, now it's starting to show a lot of poison ivy. and-
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to
Be
do
careful.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, Maggie,
I don't have anything, except, when are you putting out the newsletter for you?
So the meeting is June 29th, end of June. So it needs to be in people's hands 15 days prior. So it's about finished because, I mean, if you want to put a little,
I was
something,
thinking
I
about,
probably
yeah,
have room to do
try
that.
a little blurb.
Because the budget takes up one whole page. But yeah, if you want to do a blurb, that would be good.
Okay, so by
Always.
what, June 51st?
Anytime in the next few weeks.
Okay.
okay. So I have time.
You have time. Yeah. I'd like it mailed by June, like the first week of June.
Okay. Is that it? Welcoming committee?
Okay, I guess, well, you know, sales seem to have really slowed, although I think they're pretty, I don't, are things slowing down significantly now?
I think they've slowed up a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
with interest rates
I
on.
think once the kids start getting out of school,
Take back.
that's when they'll
Yeah,
start picking up.
okay. So I've only distributed one in the last month. I've got 7 on hand still.
Okay, good.
There are supplies back there. I didn't realize, Jack, you must have brought it
I
in,
did,
you know,
yeah.
snacks and those supplies.
Mhm.
So those are back there. I think there's a couple bottles of wine. And I need to do a letter to Ace because we're down to 4, I think,
Mhm.
empty buckets. But we're okay because, you
Yeah,
know,
we're okay.
and Cindy's going to buy a spa card, no more than $50 to give to Carolyn as a thank you this year.
That's good.
And I wrote a letter and you've already signed that. She has it. So that's it.
Okay. All right, on the planning beach erosion project, we talked about the budget part of it. We got kind of an update and drawings and proposals and all that stuff from Coastal Design. And they're in the process right now, they've gotten all of the state and federal permits, but they're starting to work with the county now to get that lined up. So, hopefully, be moving rock in FY '24. And the budget included the rock and sand and plants and everything, so. The plants are a pretty, fairly good chunk of it too, try to hold everything. So that's all I have on that. I think we already did the reserve study, unfinished business. So, got a quick claim.
Good claim. I think I sent the whole thing. Did I send them out? Yeah, I did. I think I did. They just want to have it in place because they're going to need to be doing some repairs on their, on the rocks,
Rip rap.
the riprap.
This is on Lake Vista,
Yes,
off of Vista Lane.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is Vista and this is Riverview.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't have any problem with it. We'll make a motion to approve it.
I move, we approve it.
Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Unnotarized it.
You're so popular today.
What is the status of the replacement for Mike? Are we working towards that? What's going on?
I sent Kurt Larson an email per Mike's instruction, and they were in Portugal at the time, coming down with COVID as it turns
Having
out.
Oh,
COVID.
really? Oh, my
Spending
gosh.
5 days in quarantine.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
But he did send an email to this gentleman who had said he would be interested in serving should the need arise. But I've not heard anything, and I need to ask Kurt if there's any.
Yeah, I think they literally just
I
got
think,
back,
I think so, yeah,
either yesterday maybe.
Yeah. yeah. So hopefully the COVID wasn't too,
I don't think
Severe.
they didn't have, it wasn't very bad.
Good,
but they,
good,
you know,
good.
they were just stuck,
yeah.
Yeah.
not being able to do what they
That's
wanted to
too
do.
bad, that's really too bad.
Were they just in a tour group, or they were?
I think they were visiting family. I don't
They
know for sure.
They have a nephew that lives over
Yeah.
there, and they were camping out at his house and touring, and so they were made it to Porto and
That's
you
too
know, some of
bad.
the other things they wanted
Oh,
to
what
do.
a shame, what a shame.
It's a shame.
Looks like they have to
Such
go
a
back.
Such a
Yeah.
great country, it's,
Is it?
I
Yeah.
think they'll wanna go back.
Mhm.
And Susan's in Africa.
Yeah.
Susan is in Africa.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
Susan's in
Yeah.
I think she said Zambia or Namibia.
Very cool. Is she on a safari or something?
I think, yeah, I don't know if it's
Yes.
a group thing or what it is,
Mhm.
but I don't have my phone. What's
Yeah.
their next, what's the first
I think it's June sixth,
Tuesday in June?
I think, June sixth is the first Tuesday in June.
Okay. Is that
I
what,
won't be here, we're on vacation for 3 weeks.
tonight?
Too bad.
He's feeling his
We submit 30 days for further disapproval.
further disapproval. Funny, I've never heard that.
Really? That was an old,
No.
it's an old military.
Also, just remind people, May 13th is the
Oh, that's
cleanup day.
Yeah, I was gonna ask for that, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
And if you guys, are otherwise occupied, Joe said he's available.
I can,
Yeah,
I can help.
Okay.
Is May 13th Mother's Day too? Okay.
No.
Okay, no.
The
Uh,
next day, the
It
14th?
might be the next
14th?
day.
Yeah,
because
okay.
Saturday,
14th.
Thursday.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything that's coming up.
I know. And I won't be here Friday the 5th because I'm going to North Carolina. For my mother-in-law's memorial service, so.
Okay, so June 6th is the next meeting.
Yes.
I think I'm actually here.
And the 29th is the community meeting.
Yes.
What time will that be?
June 28th?
Or
June
29th.
28th.
It's a Thursday, because the club's no longer available on Tuesdays because they do yoga classes there.
They also have their meetings on Tuesdays too, so that was.
So maybe that's just not the
yeah,
best.
Tuesday's not.
Mhm.
Yeah, so maybe Thursday will be a permanent thing.
What about Mondays?
Mondays.
I know you're fine with me.
Monday's fine. Yeah.
Seem like that, that might catch people who are, in town, like,
On the weekend.
who are only
Yeah.
working,
Yeah.
2 or 3 days.
True,
Yeah, that makes
Midweek or
sense,
something.
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We could do Mondays. Not this one.
Not the- yeah.
It's a
No, I know, it's
newsletter.
already lined up, but,
Yeah, we'll have 2 Saturdays and 2 Mondays.
I don't see any reason not to do Monday.
Actually, the bylaws don't tell you which day,
No.
except that they'll be for a year. So it seems like you could approach it one at a time, almost. Like, go ahead and keep the 2 on Saturday,
And
Well, you
because,
could.
Yeah, the 2
but then
Saturdays.
as the month approaches, or
Yeah.
the quarter approaches, then say, well,
See
what's
what,
going
so what's
on?
available in the
Yeah.
club.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
So, yeah.
have a problem with that.
Could ask the community, what,
Oh, we'll get 150,000 different answers
Okay.
from 1,200 people.
Two have to be in the,
We'll just
Saturday
take,
morning and 2 in the
We
weekday.
could.
whatever the most common
We
answer
could.
is, yeah.
It might, I could put it in a newsletter, maybe not this one, but, and say, just to find out how many people actually read the newsletter. How many
Yeah.
responses do I get?
Yeah.
One year, years and years and years ago, we did a little thing like, if you found your name somewhere, you won like $10. I think like 2 people Maybe two people, $110.
Yeah.
You had to have read the newsletter to even see that was a challenge.
Yes. So, anyway, all right.
Okay.
And is it 6 PM?
It starts at 7, but, no, wait a second.
The evening ones always start at
Thursday,
7.
yes, it starts at 7, I get there about 6. Or so, 7.
Is Tony around?
You're out, are you away? You are away, that's right. Yeah, he said he feels like he'll be
If
back.
he's, okay.
If not, then it would go to,
Oh, Jack.
it was really quick. Jack was looking down at his phone, didn't even hear.
I would be glad to do it if you needed me to do it.
That was
You'd have to be coached, you'd have to sit right
Right
by
behind
me
you,
and tell me what to do.
You can code, you can, yeah, code.
Somebody have to whispering in my ear what I'm supposed to say. But I have no idea. I'm very informal about these things anyhow, and all this Robert's Rule stuff.
I'm going to see Santana, so
Oh,
I,
are you
Are you
really?
really?
Carlos Santana.
yeah.
Where,
Hmm?
where is he?
It's Ravina in, outside Chicago.
Nice.
So my daughter's got season passes or something, you know,
Wow.
donor passes or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
You just
Wow,
went,
that's fun.
what concert did you just recently see?
Pardon me?
Didn't you just recently see another concert that was kind of a big name? Who was
Oh, I
that?
saw the Boss.
Oh, kind of a big name.
Yeah.
That was, without a doubt, the best concert I have ever seen in my life.
That's fun.
Unbelievable.
Mm.
That guy, I mean, he was a young 73, but
Is he
He's-
73?
he stood on that stage for 2 hours and 40 minutes and did not pause.
Mm.
Wow, that's really amazing.
And the musicianship and
Mhm.
the way they had the stage and everything set up was just amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It really was. And we saw it up in Baltimore at the, it's now called the CFG Bank Arena. Used to be Royal Farms,
Okay,
used to be something else before that.
right.
And they've kind of revitalized it as more like a performance hall, and they probably have convention stuff there. It's right downtown, right, just about off of the Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
But it's really, it's a great venue.
Mhm.
They have great acoustics and good seat, you know, good viewpoints from almost anywhere.
What was the parking lot?
Well, we actually stayed, we picked the girls up at BWI, then went to Boston, got a hotel and stayed, you know.
Mhm.
That's the
Good.
best way to do it, then you
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to worry
yeah.
about it.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
convinced me it wasn't worth
Yeah,
doing the concert and then trying to
Mhm.
drive.
drive home.
Oh,
Yeah.
Plus, if you have a few drinks, maybe dinner
Right,
after or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we had dinner down.
fun.
Yeah, I was jealous. My daughter, Julia, they went to a Nats game and he had a concert after the Nats game. This was probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so she got to see him and she was like in the third row.
Springsteen?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Springsteen,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's really
and she didn't even know, like she, you know, she was like, oh, you know, I'm like, yes.
But I think it's fun that your kids like, you know,
Yeah.
your music.
Yeah.
And my kids like
Yeah.
classic rock and our
Yeah.
music and so
Right.
on. And, you know,
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting into where they, you know, they like the classic rock and roll. They're getting into, like, they like a lot of good country.
Mhm.
They weren't big fans of Springsteen.
Oh, really?
They said, but they knew I wanted to go,
Right.
so they
So they
bought
did
me a
that.
ticket and I bought them to, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But afterwards, they said, that was incredible.
Oh, well, there you go,
That's
now they're
cool.
fans.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, there's something special about seeing live music.
Oh,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, if it's done
If
well,
it's done well,
Yeah.
yes.
if it's in a good
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, I can't see going to a football stadium to see somebody at the end of the
No.
stage. And
Yeah.
Oh, they were.
really all you're seeing are the,
Right, no, they were right, yeah, they were right
Monitors.
there,
Right.
yeah.
and sometimes you go to these, especially if it's, you know, somewhat rock and roll,
Mhm.
they can blow they can
Yeah.
blow
Yeah.
the place out.
Yeah.
Just too much, yeah.
Crank it up way too much.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that too.
His
Even the concerts at the Calvert Marines, you know, to me sometimes are too, I mean, I enjoy them, but they're too loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the acoustics and everything, you could hear every word that he sang in the, you know, in the group sang, the band sang. Didn't hurt your ears or anything.
Yeah,
So it was amazing.
I'm sure.
Alrighty.
All right, are we adjourned? Are we-
We're having our executive session, do we go
Yeah.
in the room or something?
But we need, I guess we need a motion for the
Oh, yes.
executive session.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session.
Second,
I'll second.
aye, all in favor? Good.
Aye.
Opposed?